Good morning. My name is Jen France, and I'm here to speak with you today about something that means a lot to me, and I hear a lot of you here as well, and that's the social emotional well-being of our students and how trauma-informed practices can help address that issue. I am the 2020 Somerset County Teacher of the Year. However, I didn't grow up in Somerset County, but I did grow up here in Maine. And as part of my Maine heritage, our family had a camp. Now, this camp wasn't like my friend Molly's camp. Molly had a camp on Cobbessy with electricity, running water. Everyone wanted to go to Molly's camp so that her parents could take you water skiing or tubing. Our camp wasn't like that at all. It was way up north, and it was for hunting and fishing. We had a small boat out front with a paddle just in case. We had a hand pump for the water, we had gas lights, and we had a long winding path through the woods to the facilities. But my friend Lynn's family didn't have a camp at all, and she liked to come spend time with my family and I at ours. So in the evenings, when Lynn and I needed to use those facilities, my Uncle Bud, whose real name was Walter, but I didn't know that for like 20 years of my life, he would tell us that we needed to go together to the facilities because we needed to one person needed to hold the flashlight, and the other needed to look out for the woofagoomus and the side hill dodgers. Apparently fictitious, I hope, characters that he invented. I think he really wanted us to watch out for skunks and porcupines, but this made it more interesting. And when he described them to me, they looked like, in my mind, Wile E. Coyote. So Lynn and I would go together, one of us holding the flashlight and the other one watching out for those woofagoomus and side hill dodgers. And when we returned, Uncle Bud would be waiting to ask us about our adventure. Now, as a teacher and as an adult, I look at my students and I see Mollies who have everything they need and most of what they want. I see myself, someone who had everything I needed and some of what I wanted. And I see Lynn's, who had to go other places to get some of her needs met and some of her wants. I also, unfortunately, see an increase in depression and anxiety and disengagement. In fact, in 2019 at the Somerset Career and Technical Center, we conducted a Gallup poll for our high school students, and we asked them, how many of you feel hopeful that you will graduate from high school, find a good job, and have a great future? Sadly, only slightly more than 50% said they felt hopeful that those things would happen for them, and slightly less than half reported that they felt discouraged or even stuck. And it's not just a problem in our county. As Lindsay mentioned, CDC reports that 61% of us, over half of us here, have probably experienced an adverse childhood experience, such as family violence, divorce, poverty, the effects of systemic racism, or mental illness in our families, or something else. And 1 in 6 of us here have probably had 4 or more of those ACEs. And as we know, because this has become popular research, the higher our ACEs are, the more chances we have of having problems with our job success, our relationships, an increase in our chances of depression and anxiety, and physical symptoms such as heart disease, diabetes, and stroke. But we now know that there are things we can do to offset these negative effects. Talking about positive childhood experiences, which you brought up, as well as knowing that our students need safe, stable, nurturing relationships and environments. And for a lot of our kids, those safe places become our schools, and those relationships are with us as teachers. And for me, at least, and I think for all of you as well, that's the best part of our job and why we do it. And when I think, in fact, in my early childhood program, I teach a lesson called Successful Teacher. And I ask each student to share a story about a teacher that made the biggest impact on them. And I've done this year after year. And every year and every story, the result is always this. It doesn't matter who that teacher was, what they taught, how long they had been teaching, or what content area or grade level it was. It only mattered that that student felt like that teacher made a connection with them personally and really was invested in their success. And I try to role model that in my classroom. Thank you to David Dorr for also saying that. But it reminds me a lot of my former students. And one I'll call Lynn, because she reminded me of my friend Lynn. Lynn came to me with a lot of personal challenges, some trauma, definitely a lot of ACEs in her life. And halfway through her senior year, she decided to drop out of high school. Instead of badgering her or trying to cajole her or convince her that high school was the best place for her to be, I would reach out to her every few days and I'd say, how are you doing? What do you need? How can I help? And eventually, Lynn came back to our classroom before she returned to high school, and I was able to place her in a classroom volunteering with young children. She decided that was what she wanted to do for the rest of her life, and realized in order to get there, she needed to graduate from high school. I'm happy to say that Lynn graduated from high school and is now employed for our school district, working in a classroom with children with special needs. She's doing a really great job of it. Stories like Lynn have led me to be inspired to want to expand this work on a bigger level. And I've been very grateful to be able to be part of many teams at our school doing that work. As David mentioned, I'm a Skills USA advisor, and a few years ago, some of our students opened a food pantry at SETC, where we provided food for our school as well as a high school. It has since expanded to become a community collaboration, and during our pandemic shutdown has provided food to the local community as well. And it's really impacted the way the students have viewed our community connection. I have become part of the we believe in equitable post-secondary opportunities for everybody. So I've become part of the MELMAC committee. I'm sure a lot of you here are as well. And we do FAFSA nights, college tours, help with college applications, all of that stuff. And to me, that's really important because that reaches out to more than just the Lyns. That speaks to the kids that remind me of myself, who was a first college graduation student, or first college generation student. And that's why in my classroom personally, I've worked to enhance our dual enrollment program, as well as SCTC also has expanded our dual enrollment process. And many of my students who are motivated, you have to be able to do it on your own a little bit, and have graduated with over a full semester of college credit when they start. And I've worked here as well with members at UMF and a small committee from our school. They here at UMF offer a free dorm agreement to some Franklin County students in order to encourage them to stay on campus, and we know that that helps students become engaged and stay in school. And as part of that team, we have been able to secure a dorm agreement for our Somerset and I believe our Oxford County students as well in the next upcoming year. I continue to work as part of our district-informed campus team, learning about the effects of trauma and how to strengthen our curriculums and to support the social, emotional, health, and well-being of our students. We've been doing that through book groups and working. We had a community showing of Paper Tigers and Resilience, so we've brought that work also to our community as well so that it can trickle down into our students' lives. And I believe this work is more important than ever with the challenges in our upcoming year. And I look forward to expanding this kind of work as County Teacher of the Year as well. Because I believe everyone deserves to have someone to hold the flashlight and watch out for the Woofagumas and the Side Hill Dodgers on their way to their goal. And I also believe, and I want all my students to feel hopeful that they will graduate from high school, find a good job, and have a great future. Thank you.